game started.
Main 007 from Spain. Okay, or Mane maybe? Cool. E4. Let's see, what have I played against E4? The French. The Sicilian. Let's try Scandinavian. Haven't played that in a while. Okay, he takes, and I like this knight f6 move as an alternative to taking with the queen. And then if he doesn't play c4, then you can take it with your knight. And if he does play c4, then you can play c6, and it's a good gambit. So this position is okay, I think. It's okay to play e5 here. He can take this knight at any time, and it is subject to attack. So you have to watch out for double attacks coming on the knight and some other location. So let's see. It seems like he's giving a comfortable space advantage to black here. If I play bishop to c5, can harass it with the knight. If I play bishop to e3, d6, it blocks the defense of the knight, and he can take the knight. So, now let's just play bishop e7, castle. Yeah, so now I could grab this dark squared bishop, which is a good bishop in his structure. So I will. He's got light squared pawns in the center here, so that dark squared bishop was his better bishop. But he can still play d4 and turn his light squared bishop into a good bishop. But I have the advantage of the bishop pair here, so that should be worth something. Can I play f5? f5 and then e4. Takes, takes. He takes. I guess he gets to keep that. Bishop to f5. See if I can provoke the move e4 from him and lock up his pawns on the light squares. Okay, let's retreat the bishop. I don't want it to be a target on f5 to some discovery by the knight. Might have even been this threatening knight. Knight takes e5 immediately. Okay. f5 here. f5, e4. Yeah, now it's supported. And then after that I could play knight to e5. His knight would probably go here though and go after my bishop. And we can develop the other bishop. He does go after it. Let's just retreat, and if he wants to take it, I'll open up a file for my rook. Yeah, he gets his king on that pin. So I'm thinking of playing the move e4 here. He moved his knight away, so now this move is possible. And if he takes, I would probably trade queens, I guess. No, if he takes, I take. I could leave my queen there and allow him to trade if he wants. But it gives him an isolated pawn, which maybe I can use as a target later. Okay, took the bishop. He Now he can ignore this and just push the pawn. And maybe I'll reposition my knight so I can play c5 to counterattack in the center. And I'll have this, yeah, he did none of the above. So he didn't take it. He moved the knight away. Yeah, pushing past was nonsense because I would take his knight, of course, so he couldn't have played that. But he could have taken, or he could move the knight. Okay, so, well, one of the ideas was to get the square e5 for my knight, so let's put it there. Now I can push past, I guess. Yeah, and I'm not really threatening to take or anything. So where do I want that knight? Sorry, where do I want that knight to go? Back here, I guess. It looks like the only square. It does support c5. So maybe let's get the queen so it's not opposing the other queen, and then put a rook here and then play c5. And knight f6 is also an idea here. If he if he pushes the d pawn forward, knight f6 would attack it, so might be a useful move. Okay, so here's c5. Here we go. Yeah, so he's supporting that point. Let's see, I could play knight back to e5 now that there's a pin. But where does it go? From e5 it could go to d3, but that would just, it wouldn't lose a pawn actually, it would because of my bishop. Let's see which way he's taking first. With the pawn. Okay. So now knight e5 to d3. I sort of want a rook on the c file now with this structure, so maybe I should have moved the other rook to d8 instead of the a rook. Move the f rook to d8 and the a rook could go to c8. Now it looks like I may have to reposition the rooks. Okay. Well, he's just liquidating over here. I don't mind if he... Do I mind if he takes? I guess I should take that. He's going to take with the rook, I assume. And then knight d3. Hitting the b pawn and hitting a few squares over here. And if he takes, then I take back with my pawn and win the e pawn because this knight would have to move, right? So that's a good move. It defends. Defends the his pawn and attacks my pawn, but it's just double rooks over here. He's going that way, so he's going after the knight. So knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes, queen takes. then I want to play queen takes here. Queen takes on e3 after all those exchanges. I could play queen takes e3 now. He doesn't, if he doesn't grab the pawn, or even if he does grab the pawn. Queen takes e3 and hit threatening d4 as well. Ah, he's got that move. That's not bad. Good intermezzo move. So if I take, he takes. Defends a pawn. It's not sufficient. Just briefly wanted to consider that. I needed to defend my rook, so but this maybe is not so good. Oh, he can take my rook first and then take the bishop. If he takes the bishop first, I take his rook because of the pin.
Check.
Yeah, he spotted that. And now it's safe for him to grab my bishop. So here I'm just a pawn down. His e-pawn is still backwards. What can I do? Yeah, just a pawn down here. Well, I think I need to at least put pressure on the e-pawn, so that will stop it from advancing at the moment. Can't play f5 right away, so maybe g6 and then f5. Okay, but if I do that, he's going to play e4 immediately. So g6, e4, and I can't play f5. Well, I could play f5, but he can just advance, and then he has two passed pawns. I know. Let's put the rook here to keep him from advancing that pawn. And now I can play f5 and maybe f4. So he advances the other pawn. That will eventually be a threat in two moves. 1, 2. Because he'll be threatening the queen and he'll be hitting my queen as well. Yeah. Tough position. Okay, do I have time for one move? Like, if I could throw an f5, he goes d6. Then I go rook back to attack the pawn. And you can play queen takes f5 then. Okay, f5, he advances the pawn, and I put the queen here because my I play queen d7 after d6. Because the pawn is defending my rook. Then maybe I have time for g6 and rook to e6 and try and round this pawn up. So I'm trying to sort of artificially isolate this pawn. Isolate the d pawn. He can play rook d1, rook d6, rook d1. Then what? I may need to bring my king over. Okay. Gotta move. I was just wondering, there's checks here. It's a bit ugly. Here there's no check, right? That's covered, that's covered. Yeah, but he can play that.
Check.
I think I want to take with the rook and keep my pawns together. There's also, I have a check here on this diagonal, and it is just possible that white could get into trouble because he's opened up his king position a bit there. But whenever I play my queen here, if it's not with check, it's pretty dangerous. Because even though it's pinning that pawn, this pawn proceeds and causes havoc. Yeah, so maybe I should have taken with the pawn. It would have stopped him from advancing his pawn there. So I'm trying to get in the move rook to e6, rook e6, king e5, and I've actually got, yeah, he pins my rook. Okay, I need to unpin. If he plays queen to c7, I can ignore that for a moment and just take the e pawn.
Check.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Let's see. There's no place the king can move that defends the queen. Here. So my best is to actually interpose with the rook.
Time warning.
I'm going to resign in a minute here. I just want to see the next couple moves.
Check. Check.
He does have a loose rook, but but I don't see how to exploit it. My only check is on this diagonal here.
Check.
And yeah, he has lots of checks. This is he's keeping me away from the king, keeping me away from the queen. So here. So now we can play queen c7 is a good move here. Defends the pawn and chases my queen away because my queen is not defended. This is a move too. Is he going to lead to mate? Let's see. If I come back here, queen here is maybe pretty devastating. And if I go here, queen here is check. I still have, no, and then mate there. Okay, so I think it's mate in any direction, so I'm just going to resign here.
Black resigns.
Okay, I'm going to upload this and do a postmortem. I thought my opponent played pretty well there. He got his extra pawn and managed to push it through. So check it out. See you guys later. Bye.